Hi everyone, Householder Monk here, coming at you once again from beautiful Tucson, Arizona. I have a topic today regarding toxins and aggression. Have you noticed when you drive, people are aggressive and they have road rage? People are just angry. I don't think you have to live in a city the size of Tucson. It's all over, smaller cities and towns. So forgive me, my videos are usually off the cuff. I don't rehearse them or take notes, but this is the third time I've tried to make this video because my device keeps dying. So I do have some notes here, but my theory is that people are taking in toxins that are causing this aggression. Now, as you know, I'm a vegan, and I believe strongly one of the most important things that's happening is people's massive consumption of meat and dairy, the hormones and toxins in those products, along with, very importantly, the fear, the pain and suffering, and the pure evil of those slaughterhouses, all goes into what you eat. I really believe those things are going into people's bloodstreams and into their brains, causing aggression, causing anger. Now, another one that's been discussed widely is toxic media. People want to look at the news. They want to know what's going on. And what do they see every day? They see the horrible state of affairs of politics in this country. They see how corporations are running this country. Tobacco, pharmaceuticals, Wall Street, oil, and obviously the meat and dairy industries. Whether you agree or disagree with what's happening in these areas, one thing's true: it's all toxic, negative media going into people's minds. It sets the course for people's day. People are angry. People are always looking for somebody to blame. So there's a gentleman who did a documentary that I just watched yesterday, who I think it's called Boredom and Zen. And his theory is that our addiction to devices is on one end of the spectrum, and finding a zen or peaceful place is on the other, and in between is boredom. And he believes there's a lot to be found in that boredom, and that's the space where we can beat these addictions, and where we find our needs to get to a zen place. And I've read before that boredom has its benefits. Boredom is a signal to us that our mind can be put to a more positive use, and being bored has effects similar to meditation. And then, of course, with devices today, there's the growing body of research regarding the radiation from the devices, the EMF signals, being around servers and routers, and sleeping with your cell phone next to your head at night. I've read some of the research. I don't know a lot about this topic, but we know that there is no empty space between us and the next object in the room. There is something filling up all of that space, atoms and molecules. And one of those things is electricity and radiation from devices. It's definitely there. How much of an effect is that having on us? If it is, it's toxic. Also, regarding devices, I mean, we know that we have an addiction to media and our devices in this country. Nobody is having the same level of one-to-one conversations anymore like they used to. There's no need for it. And people aren't writing letters like they used to. it's happening, and I'm glad, but we all know it's not at the same level it used to be out of necessity before we had devices in our lives. So um, the next the next thing is, what's the solution? Is there a solution? I'm a Buddhist, as you probably know, and it doesn't appear to me that other religions are serving their followers. It doesn't appear that their spiritual needs are not being met. Uh, I don't know what happens in church, even though I went to church until I was 15 years old, and then I said, I'm done. After I got baptized at age 15, I said, I'm done. But I don't know what's being taught in churches today or other religious institutions, but I know that people are walking back out of those facilities in the same state they were in before they went in. They just are a few dollars short. A few dollars shorter than when they went in. People are still aggressive. People are still angry. Of course, there's other factors that are making people angry. We have money problems, most of us. We have to go to jobs, almost all of us. And a lot of us go to jobs we hate. And we have to work around people that we strongly dislike. So I know there's a lot of factors. So the solution. There are other spiritual paths other than Buddhism, obviously. After 11 years of Buddhist study and practice and living almost as if I was a monk, I can tell you that I can't remember the last time I flipped somebody off in traffic because they did something stupid or did something dangerous. The anger is just not there. Now, other religions and spiritual traditions, the three Abrahamic religions, Judaism I've always thought is very fascinating. I don't know a lot about it, but it's very fascinating to study the history of Judaism. My wife is Jewish, half Jewish, but that's by blood. Her family did not practice Judaism, and neither does she. I've only known one follower of Islam, a person I worked with, and I know that we had some fascinating conversations about religion. I have some very close friends that are Christian, and I found that if you're a kind, compassionate, sensible person, and it doesn't matter what religious path you are or what politics you follow, I gravitate towards people that are kind and compassionate, and my Christian friends, we don't have a stigma attached to us talking about our respective religions, and it's interesting to talk about the intersection of religion and what we share in common as opposed to the contrast. So there are other religions too. There's some that I really think are positive religions, such as Wicca and paganism. I appreciate those because of their connection to Mother Earth. Buddhism is based in part on Hindu religion, and so there's a lot of high points in Hindi. Jains, I respect very much, but you're not going to find very many Jains in the U.S., or for that matter, in the rest of the world, but there are some out there. It's a very fascinating religion, very similar to Buddhism. Seems like there was another one I was going to mention. Sorry for looking at my notes, but I had so much to say, and in 3 tries my device kept dying, but I wanted to get this all out. I think, in conclusion, these toxic factors are causing people to be angry today and not compassionate. A lot of people don't seem to understand the sanctity of life and the beauty of life and the importance of other people and other beings being alive, and they should respect that. That's critical. And these toxins, especially what's close to my heart is veganism and the cruelty to animals. I think people are eating. They're eating and drinking that when they eat animal products. I think that's a big one. Maybe there's some other ones too. Have we thought about cigarettes and all the chemicals that this tobacco company puts in cigarettes? If we were just smoking the tobacco leaf like the Native Americans, I don't think we'd have an issue, but all those other chemicals. And what about heavy alcohol use? I don't know. I know my wife has a glass of wine or a cocktail most nights, just one, but there's some people that drink very heavily, and I have been there in my far away past. What kinds of toxins? And what is that doing to our mood the rest of the day? So, in conclusion, think about that, please. All these things that are going into our mind and making people angry and aggressive, and the way people drive their personalities, I think. They drive, if they are aggressive and angry, they drive that way. People do strange things with their cars. I think that's all I wanted to get out there. Also, that the solution, the purported solution, doesn't seem to be working. Ordinary, common religions in this country especially are not working. People's spiritual needs are not being met. And it's time for people to not just go along with whatever religion they were raised in or whatever the popular religion in your country is. It's time for people to look at all religions in the history of humanity and find that one that touches you. Find that one that has practical, applicable solutions for you. And I think we'd see a lot less anger and aggression and a lot more kindness and compassion. Thanks for listening to this one. Bye, everybody.